Morning students, this is Prasad working as assistant professor in Department of Mechanical Engineering in India College of Engineering and Technology. Today we will discuss about different milling parameters and milling operation. Comes to in our previous lecture we will discuss about what is the milling machine and types of milling machines. Horizontal milling machines, vertical milling machines, universal milling machines. So these three types of milling machines we will discuss about in our previous lecture. Comes to today class, what is the milling parameters and milling operation? First of all, go for the milling parameters. So what is milling parameter? In milling parameters, generally we have three major parts, three major definitions. That is, first one is cutting speed, feed, and the depth of cut. So these three are the very important. So in milling parameters, first of all, cutting speed. So it is the peripheral speed of the milling cutters. So cutting speed is nothing but it is one of the peripheral cutting speed of the milling cutters relative to the work come. So it is the speed of the milling cutters we are using one. It is completely milling machine. By using cutter one, we are remove the metal from the workpiece. Here cutting speed is totally it is the depending on the speed of the milling cutters. Speed of the milling cutters, the cutting speed will be depending on related to the work. So therefore, cutting speed V equal 5dn by 1000 here per meter for minute sum. So here V is nothing but cutting speed one. Here D is nothing but diameter of the cutter one. N equal RPM of the cutter one. So it is the cutting speed. Okay, so how can we know the cutting speed in milling machines? Means by using this formula to know the cutting speed of the cutter amount. Okay, so that is nothing but V equal 5dn by 1000. So V equal cutting speed, D is diameter of the cutter, N is equal RPM of the cutter. Okay, so next one is we can see what is the feed. What is defined feed? So it is the ratio of linear speed of workpiece to the product of number of teeths and RPM of cutters. So that is called as one of the feed. It is the ratio of linear speed of the workpiece to the product of number of teeths and RPM of the cutter sum. Okay, so the speed of the workpiece and the product of number of teeths and RPM of the cutter. Okay, number of teeth and the teeths RPM. Teeths RPM is nothing but speed of the cutter, each and work cutter. So that is called as the one of the feed. Okay, it is the ratio of the linear speed of the workpiece and the linear speed of workpiece and linear speed and so that is to the product of workpiece to the product of number of teeths and the number of teeths and cutter and RPM of the cutter. So RPM of the cutter is nothing but speed of the cutter. So cutter came then the number of teeths single teeths multi teeths. So a cutter RPM, the teeths RPM that is related to. So that's why so they give the one formula of feed F equal V by capital N into small n. So where V equal linear speed of the work is for N equal number of teeths here. So it is nothing but speed. Yeah, capital N is nothing but small n is nothing but number of teeths. Number of teeths, how much teeths we are using in this type of milling machines. So that one we want to know. Okay, so it is one of the feed. Okay, so it is a feed one. Next one is what is the milling time. Milling time, it is one of the very important parameter. Milling time is very important. How can we calculate the milling time? Is capital T equal so L plus LA by VA. So where L equal common one, LA, it is the common one here. So L is nothing but length of the workpiece. LA is nothing but approach length. So L is nothing but length of the workpiece. LA is nothing but approach length. So V is where V equal linear speed of the cutter. So okay, so it is one of the milling time. So next one is we can see. So these factors affecting on the efficiency of the milling operation. Okay, so previous definition and these are same one. There is no changes one. So cutting speed, feed, and depth of cut, and we will discuss that one milling time also. Okay, so first of all, cutting speed. Too slow and time wasted. Cutting speed is nothing but here. What are the benefits? Means too slow, time wasted. So next one is too fast, time lost in replacing regarding the cutters one. So by using the cutter one, so these are the some of the effects. So by using these ones, so some of the effects we can see on the milling operation. Okay, so మనం ఎప్పుడైతే సరే cutting speed and depth of cutting మనం యూజ్ చేసుకున్నామంటే So the effect అనేది machine should we can see on the milling operation. Milling operation మీద మనం ఈ effect అనేది మనం చూడొచ్చు. Okay, so that are the factors affecting on the efficiency of the milling operation. So ఈ effect అనేది ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే milling perform efficiency మీద పడుతుంది అన్నమాట. So efficiency ఏమవుతుందంటే చేంజ్ అవుతుంది. This factor affecting the efficiency of the milling operation and it is changing the efficiency of the milling operation అన్నమాట. So that is the first one. So see here, what are the factors means first of all cutting speed, depth of cut. Comes to here cutting speed one. It is too slow, time wasted one. First one, that is one of the main point. Next one is too fast one. Time lost in replacing regarding cutters. It is too slow and too fast. We can see time wasted process also on that. Sometimes we can take time lost in replacing and regarding the cutters one. Next one is speed. Speed is nothing but it is too slow, too fast. Both one we can see. Sometimes it will be fast, sometimes it will be slow. So slow onwards, time wasted and cutter charter one. We can see time wasting process. Slow means nothing but time wasting process and cutter charter process also. Too fast means cutter teeth can be broken. So the feed will be move for very fast one. It go for very high speed one. So what happens is that teeth can be broken. So the feed. So too fast onwards the field that cutter teeth can be broken easily. So next one is depth of cut. Several shallows cut waste times. So several shallows we have, so it cuts the waste time. So it is one of the depth of cut. So these are the one of the parameters. So these parameters affect the efficiency of the milling operation. So next one is we can see what are the milling operations. Next topic is milling operations. By using the milling machine, we can do a number of operations. What are the different types of operations? ఇప్పుడు మనగా డ్రిల్లింగ్ యూజ్ చేసుకొని different types of operations చేసుకోవచ్చు. అలాగే సో లేత్ మిషన్స్ యూజ్ చేసుకొని different types of operations చేసుకోవచ్చు. సో ఇలాగ మెయిన్ మేజర్గా మిషన్స్ అనేది number of operations అనేది పర్ఫామ్ చేస్తుంది అనమాట. అవి ఏంటంటే దీంట్లో మిల్లింగ్ మిషన్స్ లో వాట్ ఆర్ ద different types of operations it is performed on milling machine means first of all plain milling. Okay, so in plain milling one we can see up milling and down milling. A machine is down by the teeth on the cylinder surface of the cutter one. It finishes the surface is parallel to the axis of the cutter one. Okay, so up milling, down milling. In plain milling one again we can see two kind of operation, up milling, down milling. So it is a cutter. So it is a milling cutter, plain milling cutter. This one. So by using this cutter, we are removing metal from the workpiece. So it is a feed one. This feed, it is the workpiece. It is workpiece. It is a feed. The feed comes to this direction. The workpiece this one. So this direction onwards, the milling cutter cut the workpiece from the material. Okay. So next one is down milling. In down milling is also same one. It is a feed one. It is workpiece one. So plain milling cutters this one. Okay, so it is up milling, down milling, two differences. Okay, up milling, down milling. Now up milling, down milling, the machine is done by the teeth on the cylindrical surfaces of the cutter. The machining is done by the teeth. Machining అనేది ఏం చేస్తుంది? Teeth చేస్తుంది. The machine is done by the teeth on the cylindrical surfaces of the cutter. Finished surfaces is parallel to the axis of the cutter. The finished surface is parallel to the axis of the cutter. So that is the one of the main important point for the milling machine. Okay, that is the first operation. In milling operation one, we can do first operation is plain milling operation. Plain milling operation we can do up milling and down milling. So next one is we can see another operation one, face milling. The milling is done by the teeth on the flat surfaces of the cutter. Finished surface is perpendicular to the axis of the cutter. Okay, so it is the one of the machining is done by the teeth on flat surfaces of the cutter. It is one of the flat surface of the cutter. So it is workpiece. It is see here. It is face milling cutters. This one. It is cutter. It is the workpiece. Okay, so here the machine is done by the teeth. The machining is done by the teeth. Machining అనేది ఏం చేస్తుందంటే ఇక్కడ teeth అనేది చేస్తాం. The machining done by the teeth on the flat surfaces of the cutter. ఈ ఫ్లాట్ సర్ఫేసెస్ మీద ఈ కట్టర్స్ అనేది టీత్స్ అనేది మిషనింగ్ అనేది చేస్తా ఉంది. సో ఫినిష్డ్ సర్ఫేస్ ఈస్ ఆఫ్టర్ కంప్లీషన్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ ఆపరేషన్. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ ద ఫినిష్డ్ సర్ఫేస్ ఈస్ perpendicular to the axis of the cutter. So the finished surface is parallel to the axis of the cutter. That is one of the main important points. So it is called as one of the face milling. In face milling లో మనం ఏం చేస్తాం అంటే Finished surface is always perpendicular to the axis of the cutter one. So that is called as the face milling one. So comes to in plane milling one, the finished surface is parallel to the axis of the cutter one. That is called as plane milling. So it is called as face milling. Here it is perpendicular to the axis of the cutter one. Here plane milling one, it is parallel to the axis of the cutter one. Okay. So next one is we can see side milling one. So each and every operation, the machining is done by the teeth only. Okay, మనం ఇక్కడ machining అనేది ఏది యూజ్ చేసుకొని ఏది పర్ఫామ్ చేస్తుందంటే teeth అన్నమాట. In cutter one, we are using the teeth. By using the teeth, we are removing metal from the workpiece. అంటే teeth ని మనం యూజ్ చేసుకొని మనం ఏం చేస్తామంటే మెటీరియల్ అనేది రిమూవ్ చేస్తా ఉంటాం. యాక్సిస్ మెటీరియల్ కానీ ఏదైనా కానీ. సో ఈ మిషనింగ్ అనేది కూడా ఏది కంప్లీట్ చేస్తుందంటే teeth. The machining is done by the teeth on the cylindrical surfaces of the cutter one. The finished surface is parallel to the axis of the cutter is known as the side milling. అంటే ఇది side milling. Okay, side చేస్తా ఉంటాం machining operation. Okay, so it is the face milling. It is a plane milling. Okay, side milling kuda the machining is done by the teeth on the cylindrical surfaces of the cutter one. So it is cylindrical surfaces, it is field, it is workpiece, it is side milling cutter అన్నమాట. చూడండి side milling cutter మనం ఎలా చూస్ చేసుకున్నామో one side we are using. So one side we are using this cutter one. So this machining one we are doing the or we are removing metal from the workpiece. అంటే side milling అనేది ఒక సైడ్ మనం చూస్ చేసుకున్న workpiece మెటీరియల్ అనేది రిమూవ్ చేసుకుంటాం. It is one of the side milling one. So this machining is done by the teeth on the cylindrical surfaces the cutter. Finished surface is parallel to the axis of the cutter. The finished surfaces కూడా ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే parallel to the axis of the cutter అన్నమాట. దీనికి ఈక్వల్. So it is called as side milling. Next one is we can see side and face milling. Side and face milling. Side and we have the two ones here. Side and face milling. Both one. So here face milling is side milling. But both machining operations we are doing on single step one. Face and side. So machining is done by the teeth on the flat as well as cylindrical surfaces of the cutter. Finished surfaces are perpendicular as well as parallel to the axis of the cutter. Again, machining is done by the teeth common on both on the flat surfaces as well as cylindrical surfaces. Flat surfaces మీద ఉండొచ్చు లేదా cylindrical surfaces మీద ఉండొచ్చు. Face milling లోనో flat surfaces ఉంటుంది, flat surfaces of the cutter ఉంటుంది. సో దీంట్లో ఏముంటదంటే cylindrical surface of the cutter ఉంటుంది. దేంట్లో side milling లో cylindrical surfaces, flat లో so flat surfaces. Face milling లో flat, side milling లో cylindrical surfaces. So side and face milling రెండిట్లో ఏముంటుందంటే machining is done by the teeth on the flat and as well as cylindrical surfaces of the cutter. Finished surfaces are parallel as well as perpendicular to the axis of the cutter. So the combination of these two one we can call as the side and face milling. So next one is we can see another operation one. End milling one. So it is end milling. So it is a profile milling. It is a gang milling. So it is one of the end milling. So end investment ఒక వర్క్ పీస్ కి ఫినిషింగ్ చేసేదాన్ని ఎండ్ మిల్లింగ్ అనుకుంటారు. చూడండి ఫినిషింగ్ చేస్తాం ఎండ్ మిల్లింగ్. ఇందులో మనం మిల్లింగ్ అనేది చేసుకుంటాం. ద మిషనింగ్ ఇస్ డన్ బై కట్టర్ టీత్స్ ఆన్ ది ఎండ్. సో ఇక్కడ మనం ఎక్కడ చేస్తున్నాం అంటే ద కట్టర్ ఇస్ టీత్ ఆన్ ది ఎండ్. సో ఎండ్ యాజ్ వెల్ యాజ్ పెరిఫెరీ ఆఫ్ ది కట్టర్ అమ్మ. ఇట్ ఈస్ యూజ్డ్ ఫర్ మిషనింగ్ ఆఫ్ కాంప్లికేటెడ్ ప్రొఫైల్స్ అమ్మ. ఇప్పుడు ఎండ్ మిల్లింగ్ అనేది ఎందుకు యూజ్ చేసుకుంటాం అంటే కాంప్లికేటెడ్ పార్ట్స్ లో మనం ఎండ్ మిల్లింగ్ అనేది యూజ్ చేసుకొని మనం మిషనింగ్ చేసుకుంటా ఉంటాం. అర్థం ద మిషనింగ్ ఇస్ డన్ బై ది కట్టర్ టీత్ ఆన్ ది ఎండ్ యాజ్ వెల్ యాజ్ ఎండ్ లోనే చేస్తున్నాం అనమాట, యాజ్ వెల్ యాజ్ ది పెరిఫెరీ ఆఫ్ ది కట్టర్ అనమాట. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ యూజ్డ్ ఫర్ మిషనింగ్ ఆఫ్ కాంప్లికేటెడ్ ప్రొఫైల్స్. సో సమ్ కాంప్లికేటెడ్ డెలికేటెడ్ ప్రొఫైల్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఆ ప్రొఫైల్స్ మిషనింగ్ చేయాలంటే అంటే ఆ ప్రొఫైల్ మెటీరియల్ అనేది రిమూవ్ చేయాలంటే మస్ట్ అండ్ షుడ్ we can go for the end milling. The end milling onwards we are removing metal from the workpiece. Okay, the machining is done by the cutter teeth on the end as well as the periphery of the cutter. It is used for the machining of the complicated profile. It is called as end milling. Next one is profile milling. The cutter చూడనమ్మా. సో here workpiece ఇది end milling ఇది. So it is surfaces ఇది. So it is called as end milling. But profile milling, so see here it is profile milling, it is workpiece one. So see here it is cutter one. The cutter is doing the operation. So see cut చేస్తా ఉంది workpiece pad. The contrast outline same on that of the shape of the profile. It is used for the gear pitch manufacturing. చూడండమ్మా. సో ఇప్పుడు మన ఈ ప్రొఫైల్ ఏదైతే మనం మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరింగ్ చేద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నామో, సో మన ఈ టూత్ కూడా మనకి ఈ టూల్ కూడా అదే షేప్ లో ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. అదే మేజర్ గా ఎక్కడ యూజ్ చేసుకుంటాం గేర్ టీత్స్. ఇట్ ఈస్ మేజర్లీ వీఆర్ యూజ్డ్ ఫర్ ది గేర్ టీత్ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరింగ్. ఓకే, సో ఇట్ ఈస్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ది ప్రొఫైల్ మీనింగ్ అన్నమాట. అదవుతున్నామా, ద కట్రాస్ అవుట్లైన్ సేమ్ యాజ్ దట్ ఆఫ్ ది షేప్ ఆఫ్ ది ప్రొఫైల్ అన్నమాట. ద అవుట్లైన్ యాజ్ సేమ్ యాజ్ ది shape of the profile అన్నమాట. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ యూజ్డ్ ఫర్ ది గేర్ టీత్ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరింగ్ అన్నమాట. ఓకే, మా గేర్ టీత్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా, ఇవన్నీ కూడా టీత్స్ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరింగ్ చేయాలని యూ కెన్ గో ఫర్ ప్రొఫైల్ మిల్లింగ్ ఓన్లీ. నెక్స్ట్ వన్ ఈస్ గ్యాంగ్ మిల్లింగ్ వర్క్. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ది వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ అన్నమాట. సో గ్యాంగ్ మిల్లింగ్, 2 or more milling cutters are mounted on the arbor. 2 or more milling cutters are mounted on the arbor. Horizontal and vertical surfaces are machined simultaneously. చూడండమ్మా, సో ఇక్కడ మనం ఏం చేస్తామంటే హారిజంటల్ సర్ఫేసెస్, వర్టికల్ సర్ఫేసెస్, సో బోత్ కూడా మనం ఇక్కడ గ్యాంగ్ మిల్లింగ్ లో అనేది మనం మిషనింగ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, హారిజంటల్ కానీ వర్టికల్ కానీ. సో దట్స్ వై యూఆర్ యూజింగ్ ఫర్ దిస్ గ్యాంగ్ మిల్లింగ్ అన్నమాట. సో సీ హియర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ వర్క్ దిస్ వన్. సో సీ హియర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎ ప్లేన్ మిల్లింగ్ కట్టర్స్ దిస్ వన్. ఇది సైడ్ వన్, సైడ్ ఫేస్ ఆఫ్ ది మిల్లింగ్ కట్టర్ ఇది. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో సైడ్ మూవింగ్ కట్టర్ దిస్ వన్. ఓకే, సో 2 cutters you can use, 2 or more milling cutters you can use them. So ఒకటిగా 2 or more one, so 3 or we can use 4 we can use, but here they are using 2 milling cutters. They are using these 2 milling cutters. They are cutting the metal from the workpiece. So see here it is workpiece. These 2 are cutters. These 2 cutters we are using and cutting the workpiece. So the 2 are mounted on the arbor. So these 2 cutters are, it is mounted on the arbor. The horizontal and vertical surfaces are machined simultaneously. Horizontal surfaces కానీ vertical surfaces కానీ both కానీ simultaneous గా చేస్తాం అన్నమాట. At a time we can do for the horizontal machining operation, vertical machining operation. So that is called as one of the gang milling one. So next one is we can see saw milling. So see here saw milling one, sickling. So see here it is workpiece one, is a milling cutter. So see here this side milling, it is workpiece, it is a cutter. So this feed, this is a cutter. By using this cutter we are removing the metal from the workpiece. Okay, so see here the thickness of the cutter is small one. So the thickness of the cutter is very small. How much thickness means we are using 0.75 to 5 mm we are using. Okay, 0.75 to 0.75 to 5 mm thickness we are using in this type of milling operation. It is used for cutting deep slots for the cutting of operation. So ఇక్కడ cutting of operation లో deep slots మనం చేయాలంటే machine should we can use for the saw milling. Okay, it is one of the saw milling. The thickness of the cutter is very smaller one. So how much means 0.75 to 5 mm. So it is majorly used for the cutting deep slots. It is majorly used for the deep slots or for the cut-off operation one. So it is one of the saw milling one. Next one is keyway milling. So see here it is keyway milling. So keyway. So it is a workpiece one, it is a cutter. So it is workpiece, it is a cutter. It is a workpiece, it is a cutter. This is a keyway. It is a keyway. Keyways can be prepared by using the side and face milling. So we want to create for keyway machining means it is we prepare for by using side and face milling, place milling cutters on the horizontal milling machine or end milling cutters on the vertical milling machine. So keyway milling cheyalante machine should we want to prepare for by using side and face milling. Side milling, face milling మనం యూజ్ చేసుకొని keyway milling operation అనేది మనం పర్ఫామ్ చేస్తాం on the horizontal milling machine or end milling cutters end milling cutter on the vertical machine. Okay, so horizontal లో కానీ or end milling cutters on the vertical milling machine. Okay, so it is one of the keyway milling. So it is one of the operation. Okay, so it is the different types of operations. So what is the milling operations? First one is plain milling. Okay, so next one is face milling one. Okay, next one is side milling. So next one is side and face milling, both one, side and face milling we can see. So next one is we can see end milling one. So it is one of the end milling operation one. Next one is it is a profile milling one. It is a gang milling one. So next one is we can see saw milling one. It is a keyway milling. So these are the different types of operations on the milling machines. Different operations performed on the milling machines. Okay. So next one is we will discuss milling cutters. What are the milling cutters? What are the different types of milling cutters? So milling cutters onwards we will discuss for what are the holding devices. What is the milling holding devices? So after then we are completely the fourth unit. Okay. In fourth unit also straight topic on the total topic is we will discuss for milling machine only. There is no for and the topic one. The only milling machine. What is the milling machine? Types of milling machines. Number of. What are the different types of milling operations? One. So what are the different types of cutters we are using? One. So next one is what are the tool holding devices? One. So next one is what are the process parameters on milling machines. So these are the major topics for the milling machines in fourth unit. Okay. So milling machine is the process of using rotary cutters to remove the material from a workpiece by the advancing in a direction at an angle with the axis of the tool. So it is called as the milling machine. And the milling machine is nothing but one of the milling machine process of using rotary cutters. మన ఇక్కడ milling machines లో ఏం యూజ్ చేస్తామంటే rotary cutters యూజ్ చేస్తాం. So using the rotary cutters, we are removing the metal from the workpiece. So that is called as the milling machine. So by advancing in a direction at an angle with the axis of the tool. So మనం removal అనేది ఎలా చేస్తామంటే so by advancing in a direction at an angle with the axis of the tool. So it is called as milling. So generally milling cutters. So see here. So in milling operation based on the cutters, we are removing metal from the workpiece. And the cutters base చేసుకొని మనం ఏం చేస్తామంటే the material అనేది remove చేసుకుంటాము. Without cutter, we cannot do the milling operation. Cutters is main important here. So milling cutters are two cutting tools. Milling cutters is nothing but cutting tools. Typically, it is used in the milling machines or milling centers to perform milling operations. So milling tools అనేది basically గా మనం used in the milling machines. Cutting tools ఎక్కడ యూజ్ చేసుకుంటాం milling machines లో యూజ్ చేసుకుంటాం or milling centers to perform milling operation. మిల్లింగ్ సెంటర్ లో మనం యూజ్ చేసుకున్నప్పుడే కటింగ్ టూల్స్ అని పర్ఫామ్ చేస్తుంది మిల్లింగ్ ఆపరేషన్. అదే మన టూల్ యూజ్ చేసుకోకపోతే ఈ కెనాట్ పర్ఫామ్ ఫర్ ఎనీ మిల్లింగ్ ఆపరేషన్. సో ఇట్ కెనాట్ యూజ్ ఇట్ ఫర్ ది మిల్లింగ్ మిషన్స్ ఆల్సో. టూల్ ఈస్ ద వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ది టూల్ ఓన్లీ we are remove the metal from the workpiece. So see here generally types of milling cutters. So types is very important one. These are the one of the very important topic. Types of milling cutters one. So types of milling operation one. Types of milling machines. These three are very important. Okay. So what is the milling machines and what are the parts in milling machines? So what are the working principle of milling machines? So these are the one of the very important topics. Okay. Introduction. What is the milling machines? What are the working principle of milling machines? What are the parts of milling machines? That is one of the essay question. Next one, what is the types of milling machines? So generally we have the three types of milling machines: horizontal, vertical, universal. That is one of the essay question. Next essay question is what is the milling operations? Explain different types of milling operation. That is the third essay one. Next one is another one they will ask for types of milling cutters. So we have the different types of milling cutters. So see here, generally milling cutters based on these two ones, they are divided for different types of milling cutters. The first one is arbor type of milling cutters. First one is arbor type of milling cutters. Next one is shank type of milling cutters. Comes to in arbor type of milling cutters, we have the four types. One. The first one is plain milling one, side milling one, palm milling one, fly cutters. Okay, these are the four types of arbor type of milling cutters. So next one is we can see shank type of milling cutters. So in shank type of milling cutters, again we have the four types of classifications: end mill one, inserted tooth one, T-slots one, fly cutters. So these are the another type of milling cutters. Okay, generally milling cutters we have two types: arbor type, shank type. In arbor type one, plain milling, side milling, palm milling. In shank type milling cutters, end milling one, inserted tooth, T-slots, fly cutters. So these are the different types of cutters. Okay, so cutters are generally classified in two types: arbor type, shank type. In arbor type, again we have the classifications. In shank type, again we have the classifications. Okay, so these topics we will discuss for next class. Okay, next class we will discuss for different types of cutting milling cutters. Next one is after this topic one, we will discuss about tool holding devices of milling machine one. Okay, so thank you, Amma. This is our today class. Today class we will discuss about what is the different parameters of milling machines. Next one is what are the different factors. These factors are affecting for the milling operation. Next one is what are the different types of milling operations. So these are today class. Thank you.